So just to get started, and I'm not going to give you a real in-depth. We've got some other breakouts that will tell you a little bit more about the dangers of AI, and how to make sure that you're using it in an ethical way. And really, if all I could say is this: Claude is the AI that we use, and we did a lot of research on it. Pastor is the one that does. He's the research guy around here. So, Pastor Jennings, when we first started looking into this, he started doing a lot of research on ethics, and which AI was rated as the most ethical. And Claude, which is owned by Anthropic, if you've ever heard those names, is the one that kept coming up number one in all of the research that he did. So we used it on from the very basic level, and this is something, if you want to start somewhere, get it to help you with writing letters, emails, and communication. That's honestly, that is a very basic level that everybody can learn it from, and will also allow the AI to begin to learn you. That sounds scary, doesn't it? Okay, but it is a process, and it will learn your likes and your dislikes. Ultimately, this is one of the dangers. It wants to please you. So much so that it will lie. Okay, so, and you will see on a lot of AIs it puts, like Claude will say, Claude can make mistakes. Double check your work. Do all that stuff. So that's just a very brief thing. So let me tell you my background and where I arrived at this, and where I'm hoping it will help people. Pastor approached me. I took on in January. I took on extra responsibilities here. We made a commitment to kind of shift some responsibilities of the staff. And he asked me to take on our outreach and assimilation, managing the data. Okay, not that he's expecting me to be out making visits anymore, but he needed somebody that was a little bit better at managing the data, having their eyes on the data. So with that in mind, I was like, where's the time going to come? Because after talking through that, was like, I was going to be looking at anywhere from an extra 8 to 15 hours a week, okay, to manage that effectively. So I had to kind of, okay, what can I do better? This is one area he challenged me. He said, see if there's a way that Claude can help you with your scheduling, okay, with planning music, not with necessarily people management, but with the music database management and planning services. So that's where I started. So I gave you a handout. I did a fresh chat this morning because I did not want to go in back to a pre-existing, it kind of know our history. So I just started this, and this is on your printout that you've got there. A lot of talking to AI has to do with what's called a prompt, okay? And really, you just need to think of this initially as a conversation. Express the need that you have, what you need its help with, and whether or not you need it to completely plan it or be a collaborator. And I think you understand that there's a little bit of difference. I find the best tool is to use it as a collaborative tool. So this is a very basic prompt that I put in this morning to us working through this together. Good morning, Claude. I'm a music director at a church who has many other responsibilities besides being over the music program. I need you to help me know how you can assist me and help me work more efficiently at the same time is what I'm going to say, of challenging me to be more effective. Is this something you can help me with? And you can see its response there. So I did not tell it anything about, I need you to help me do a music schedule. I'm starting very broad, okay? And it gives some tips, and this may be something that you could start off with and ask it. There are things here when I start off these initial conversations that it will spit out that I wasn't even thinking of, okay? And to me, in my personal experience with AI, this has been the most eye-opening thing, is it being a collaborative tool. It helps me think of things I'm not even thinking of. Pastor will use his microphone and have a verbal conversation. He will talk to the AI, and then it won't talk back, but it will, and he just carries on a conversation with it. So that's a really good way to start out using it, and just play with it, see what it does. So just to kind of move us along, and I'm gonna really kind of hone in on what I've been using it for, and then I'm hoping that you guys can give me some ideas of what you might think of. And then I don't want this just to be a one way. I want us to even put some stuff in and have it collaborate with us a little bit today. So the next prompt I gave it, I said, right now my biggest issue is I need help planning the next 3 months worth of congregational singing. So again, I started broad. Now I'm getting very specific in what I need its help with. I said, would that be a good start? And it said, yeah. And again, it wants to please you. Okay, so it is going to be very agreeable in what you are asking of it to do. So you can see there that it asked me, what's my planning timeline? What 3 months? So Claude has no idea what today is. Okay, AIs, most of them do not have a reference of time. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to say, I would like your help with this. But first, and you can just carry it, punctuation does not matter. Okay, it's smart enough, it doesn't if you mess up. But at this moment, but you need to understand what day it is. And again, I'm just going to move forward, okay? It is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. I need to plan Sunday music for November, December, and January of okay. Your prompt, you can't. It's very easy to confuse it too. So I'm going to assume it's going to know that it's January of 2026. Okay. We have 2 services on Sundays, an AM and a PM service. Can you lay out those dates and times in an artifact? And I'll explain what that is. Okay. Okay, so it's going to pull the artifact up. I didn't necessarily tell it to create a chart, so I'm going to correct that just so we can. So I'm going to scroll up here now where you can see everything that it did. Okay, so it gave me immediately. Oh, good grief! What did I just do? There it is. This is not my laptop, so the gesturing may not be as. There it is. Okay. All right. So it pulled up immediately the Sundays in November. I didn't even see what it gave me that I didn't even ask for. Okay. It gave me the Advent season Sundays. You know, that's kind of it. Hey, I'm going to do some extra for you, more than what you asked. So what I'm going to do for today, okay, let's remove the charts and just give me the dates with an AM section and a PM section below. So I'm being very direct with it. So you see what it did? This is what I prefer. When I first start, This is what I want it to do, okay? So it laid this all out, okay? So now I'm not necessarily concerned with the third Sunday of Advent or anything like that, okay? So now let me show you. Now I'm going to give it data, okay? I'm going to, what I've already done is I have exported from Planning Center a spreadsheet, a CSV file. I went in and sorted it. I gave each column a theme. I gave the columns have the title of the song, kind of a category to fit in, whether it's traditional, contemporary, or things like that, a hymn, things like that. And then I have, because of how I know Pastor wants the flow of the service to go, I gave each song a 1, a 2, or a 3, or I left it blank. That is the position of song within the service. First song is always familiar, upbeat. Second song is our big song. Then we always have a break, okay, release the tension. And then we have a third song, usually a third, sometimes a fourth song after the choir to kind of bring everything back down before special music, things like that. So that's how I've categorized that. So what I'm going to do is say, okay, here is a spreadsheet of all of our songs. I'm going to give it very basic. Can you place all of the songs in an order, songs randomly? Well, I don't want to use that. Not necessarily in the order they appear in the spreadsheet. I need 3 songs per service. Okay?
If you don't have planning center,
you can make your own data. That's just the easiest.
So if you have just a song, like I track our songs.
Yeah.
Right? But I only do it in pages.
Yeah.
So you could upload that document. So it'll read that.
Yeah. It'll read that. It will. This is how I wanted to give it the data.
Sure.
So, and then again, you guys are catching me after a tremendous learning curve. Okay. So now I'm gonna upload a file.
How long have you been using Claude here?
Since we're using the Pro, we've been using the Pro version since January.
Okay.
Actually, no, since November.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a spreadsheet. I'm going to upload it.
Okay, yeah, I actually signed up for Claude.
Yeah.
And I asked it to give me a series of songs about heaven.
So
Yes.
And it made lots of
And that's kind of where we've done some things is if I'm helping on music at work something, I know where God's led me. He's working on music and help like, hey, where's your theme for it? Where are you going to be for this month or whatever? Trying to organize it that way, that's been super helpful.
Right.
And we've tried to just let it pick. Like we use chat and we use Claude both. Try to let it pick, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't know that song. So giving it what your music is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can tell it read all the columns.
Yeah.
Okay, it read all of my columns. It recognized it recognized the style. It recognized speed. It recognized key. I've already got some usage tracking in there. Okay, so it tracked all that. Now it says I'll distribute songs thoughtfully, considering various. So it's kind of taking my columns and assuming that I want it a specific way. We're going to see what it spits out here. Okay, so it's bringing in Christmas music. I didn't even ask it to do that. Okay. See how it's just how it analyzed it, and then now it's just doing everything. And I'm using the highest level of their AI, which each time they come up with a new one, it's a little bit slower. So if you use older generations, it's even faster. They're just it's how their AI is learning and making improvements. Like when we first started on Claude, you could not get it to reference previous chats.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You could not, it would not, or if you came back to the same chat after a week and wanted to pick up, you'd have to completely redo your first prompt and start over again.
So does it you get an updates on the subscription that you have then?
You can. Like, we're on the pro version.
What's
And
the
that,
cost to get on this?
Under the
I think it's
I looked it up.
For the pro.
100 a month for the
40
pro.
month, 40 month.
Yeah.
The next one down.
Here's what I'm telling you, and how our pastor thinks. We dropped some subscriptions, okay, to make this one up, and pastor views it as another employee.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay, because of it's like us all having our own research assistant, our own proofreader, our own, hey, make this better person, our own brainstorming team, everything. I'm going to encourage you, I'm going to make a plug right here, okay? If you already have an understanding of the ethics of AI and if you don't, I highly suggest going to Matt Trill's tomorrow. But if you kind of have a basic understanding of that and you want an idea of some mind-blowing stuff, Emma's breakout on planning events is huge. She's going to walk you through a tool in Claude that we all have access to, and every single staff person uses it to plan events.
Okay, so let me
Okay.
ask a question.
Okay.
I just quickly signed up.
Yeah.
Free version.
Yeah.
My email address.
Mhm.
So how do you do it as a site?
That would be a question. I don't know for sure. You might use that would be a question.
Per employee that's using it. Because that
Yeah.
that was my question.
There might be
So,
a site license.
I think it might be 150, but in my mind it could be as high as 500.
For a site license.
But I think he may have had to put in how many employees we give access to it, things like that. So, but I can find out, or you can ask Pastor about that. So, and that gives you, it doesn't limit you. I mean, if you use the free versions of chat of AI, you understand that you're limited on how many prompts you can put in. So, and it gives you access to all of their different AI, and I'll show you right here. See this little drop down? That gives you an even more models. So these are their old ones. Okay. So I'm using Sonnet. I'm not even using the most powerful. I'm using Sonnet 4.5. So if we used Opus, you would notice it would be significantly slower. Okay. So, okay. So if that's all that we did, for argument's sake and for time's sake, okay, if you said, okay, that is great, that's what I want to stick with, okay, what I do is I take that document, that becomes my plan. We use Planning Center, so then I have to go into Planning Center, and it's just a matter of dragging and dropping. I can plan a quarter's worth of music in about an hour.
If you're happy with it.
If I'm happy with it. And even with some tweaking, I've got mine down to where it knows me and it knows how I want things, to where, I mean, it's probably when I first did this, from beginning to something I was happy with, was about 3 hours.
But then the next time you pull that,
It's gonna, yeah. You can tell it, okay, and I'm still looking at this week over week, and I'm still making tweaks. I may take a song that I planned next week and move it over and flip-flop them. So I'm still looking at it and tweaking it week over week. So when I get ready to plan the next quarter, I will export a file, or I'll go in and update my spreadsheet or file and say, okay, this is where I landed. This was my final product. I need you to account for that. Now let's plan the next quarter.
Okay.
And I will tell it, hey, I don't want to use 30% less of 30% of the songs we use in here, I don't want to use over here.
Sure.
Something to that effect. If I want it to I don't want it to use the same library of songs every quarter. You know what I mean? So now, this does not account for any new music. Okay? So let's do this. And this is something that I have learned to do. Okay? This, and now I'm going to compliment it. Okay?
Yeah,
It does respond to compliments, okay? And what you're doing is you're affirming its work. And by affirming its work, it's learning what's acceptable and what you want, right? Okay? This is great. And I appreciate what you have done. However, this does not account for any new songs we will incorporate. I do not know what the song is. Will be, can you add a new song to each month's plan on a Sunday night? Let's just start there. Okay? And then what it should do is it should just put new song, TBD. Okay? So that's great. All right? But I want to be able to incorporate this on a Sunday morning. Okay? I like it. Let's schedule, because what I like to do is, if we introduce a new song, I like to do it 2 Sunday nights in a row before we introduce it on a Sunday morning.
Okay.
So let's plan to sing those new songs 2 Sunday nights a row, then immediately schedule it for the following Sunday morning.
Introduction week 1 and 2,
Yeah. So it's telling me here, okay? So now I even take it a step further. I got to plan rehearsals. So I need to account for that rehearsal time, okay? So I kind of understand this process. I don't have to go all the way through it. I want to leave some time for you guys to ask me some questions. So what I would have done next is said, okay, can you schedule the first rehearsal for each of these songs 2 Sunday nights before the first time we sing it in a service? And it'll go and it'll add practice new song PM, and it'll do 2 Sunday nights in a row before you sing it the first time. Okay? So, and it just did the whole thing for me. Okay? So now I'm happy with that, and I would take this, export it, I'd bring it into a Word document, and then I would just open the Word document and open Planning Center side by side. And then it's just a matter, this may be all you need. You know what I mean? Just a sheet to go off of.
And that's what
you know, yeah.
Our ministry, our praise team, and all of our instrument players, they get this.
Yeah.
Normally about a month at a time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the planning side of it is
huge. Yeah. So if it did not, like for example, if it did not automatically assume that we were going to do Christmas songs in December, and it just put I could have gone back in and said, okay, there should be some songs in there labeled Christmas. You know, let's populate December with those Christmas songs.
So is this your plan that you're using right now?
This is how I schedule.
No, I mean, but this is literally what you.
Well, this.
So this one knows you.
I started a brand new chat.
Oh, okay. So this doesn't even know anything.
And I asked it to not reference any. I could have. They've
fine.
progressed. I could have asked it to go back and reference other and give it a specific name of the chat.
How long does it take before it recognizes your tendencies? Or
I would say after I planned the second quarter, it automatically knew, because I told it. I said, I need you. I had to go and pull in all the old prompts and remind it and say, look, this is what we did. This is what we did, and I need you to. Now I don't have to do that. But even when I was doing that, it knew exactly what I was doing, I had, first time it took me 3 hours. Okay. Second time, and I'm sorry, that 3 hours included me tweaking that spreadsheet.
Sure.
You know, because I wanted to make sure I was giving it, I knew where I was going to go, so I really spent some time in that spreadsheet and making sure I was giving it good data.
But you wouldn't have gotten 3 months playing in 3 hours.
No, that would have taken me,
Right.
honestly, if I had the time to sit down and do it all, if I dedicated an hour to it every day, it was taking me the better part of a week.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and then I was still tweaking it week over week.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so now I can take about an hour a month before I need that new music, and I can lay this out, and I'm still looking at it every Monday. You know, I'm still tweaking it every Monday before I send out the stuff to people.
Talk
So,
about email, letters, and things.
mm-hmm.
How often do you use it for that?
I mean, daily.
A lot. That's where it started with me.
Yeah.
So how long did it take it to necessarily learn your tendencies to be able to send out one that sounds like you wrote it? And how would you do that?
Here, I wanted it to be a balance. I wanted it to think outside the box.
Okay.
Okay.
So how would you send out an email to your entire music department about Christmas?
Well, let's do this. Let's do it. Okay. Let me start a new chat. We got a few minutes here, so
Not much.
yeah. So let's just say, good morning. I always greet it. Okay.
You're so much nicer.
I say.
That's how it learns tendencies.
It does that, right?
So because then it probably knows that you're a more direct person.
Exactly. Because I do it a lot. Like I dictate to mine as well, kind of like Pastor Jennings does. And I'll be like, look, I'm working on, I principal private school as well as pastor. So my hats are very different depending on which email that goes to. And it'll be simple. Like, hey, I need to send an email out to parents about upcoming this, that, and the other. And it will kind of.
I'm totally making up 2 dates. Okay.
No, absolutely.
Let's do 2nd and 10th. Okay. At 1 o'clock. Okay. I don't know if those are Saturdays or not, but a gentle reminder
So you kind
To
of give some direction.
be
Especially
prepared.
As you're getting it to learn you, that's
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
Eventually, he may not have to put that, right? Because every time you remind it, hey, I kind of like to be gentle and reminding and caring.
Yeah. So I will give it the specific dates I need. I'll give it, and the basic, an idea of the message. Can you write this? I've done this in different. I don't always do it this way. Sometimes I'll write it, put it in, and then have it tweak it.
Clean it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's another.
Where I've
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. And that's a good place to start.
Because then it knows how you talk. So take an email that you've typed up in your email, copy the entire thing, put it here.
How good is this, Graham?
Fantastic.
Oh, really good. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Really good. This uses what's called language learning model.
I think
It's
so.
LLM,
Yeah,
something
LLM.
like that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not thrown off by my typos or misspellings or anything like that. General reminder: be prepared. Knowing the songs. Can you write this for me? To keep it to 300 words. Okay. And so let's just see what it comes up with. Okay, so let me scroll up here.
Now, I've got a question before we
Uh-huh.
read this. So you created just a new chat, but this is your account in Claude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because it's your account, it surprises me that it does not fill your name in. Because that normally it would pull that. And
Yeah, it probably didn't, and I have not. It's something I've never noticed before,
Yeah, because
and it may be because I've never asked it to do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll do this to get a basic thing, and then I'll just copy and paste, move it over to my email. So, but you can see, I mean, it's mostly coming up with the fill. It's mostly coming up with, and it may change up. Here's what Pastor does, okay? Pastor writes the bulletin content every Friday. And usually we have something in there, in the bulletin, over multiple weeks, okay? So what he does is he says, and he'll bring the paragraph in that he used last week, and he'll say, I need to say this again, but in a different, fresh way, okay? And so that is that's another way that we use it too. So, I always read it.
Well, like,
Don't ever go in blind. Don't just copy and paste and send it. Okay.
That gentle reminder, like coming
Yeah.
prepared will allow us to focus on refining our sound. We're down at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Working on dynamics. It
Yeah.
sounds like listening.
Yeah.
Do your best. Show up.
Yeah.
Right.
It's given some preparation and
it's
urgency.
fantastic.
Okay. So, I mean, that's just a very basic thing. And that's, I mean, I use it to write emails. Are you currently using any AI?
Not for planning.
Okay.
I don't really intend to.
Okay.
But I do use it for emails.
Okay. What about you? You're
at
not,
all.
you just signed up. Okay. Here's the thing. You can get so wrapped up into it. It was, and I'll just tell you, and you guys and Pastor wouldn't mind me saying it. It was like his new toy.
Yes.
You know, so we got called into a lot of things, and it was about, and I get it. He wanted to show us what he had learned, hoping that it might help us. You know, I understand that. So, but you're using it some?
Yeah, I use
Okay.
it on my side. I believe our youth pastor's wife does
Yeah.
all of our bulletins.
Yeah.
She uses it
Yeah.
to make sure, hey, these are the events coming up.
Yeah.
Here's the details. Help me with
Yeah.
some bulletin blurbs.
Yeah.
And then that changes, so she
Yeah.
uses it on that side.
Yeah.
He uses it a lot in youth ministry. So we do, but getting it towards my music side
Mhm.
is really, okay, how can we make this an easier transition,
Mhm.
especially with us introducing blended worship.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Can your brain's obviously turning. Okay. Is there a hypothetical or scenario where you could see, I did not want this to just be strictly about planning, but that's just where I have used it mostly, where you could see this maybe helping you or assisting you?
Yeah, probably maybe in really just emails.
Yeah.
I've got spiritual convictions about using it.
No, I understand that. Yeah. I understand that. I understand
But
that.
if you have a library of things that you use and track, all you're asking it to do is some of the grunt work for you.
Yeah, but I also believe in a super intentional choice of each
Sure.
individual song.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
and
I
that
agree.
Yeah.
I would want to
Yeah.
for you, because you talked about trying to incorporate your orchestra more with your choir.
Yeah.
Using it instead of helping me plan.
Mhm.
How can I, right? Help me brainstorm. How can I incorporate my orchestra more with my choir?
Yeah.
Away from these tracks, because that's some of the things that I looked at. Like, man, what are ways we can do this? Because
Yeah.
my brain is
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
big in this
Yeah.
box, and sometimes
Yeah.
I don't get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am 100% understanding.
and that's exactly where we were when we first started. I promise you.
There's a lot of crazy.
Our pastor,
to be honest.
he's been very careful in here to make sure he communicated that you should be, you know, there is tremendous ways to use it wrong.
Yes.
And everything. I've had to have the same conversations with my daughter for her English classes and all this stuff. So, there's many times I'll import stuff outside the music. I'll say, I don't have time to read this. Unless it's pertinent for me, I've got to know every detail. I will say, can you give me a brief synopsis? Okay, and I'll import it, and it'll just give me a brief overview. We're done with our time today. I hope we had a little bit of collaboration. I really wanted to make sure we did that. I don't know if I'll have a different round of people tomorrow, but the ones that you could take advantage of, if you wanted to learn more, Emma's is a powerful tool with planning, and you may learn a little bit more about the collaborative thing in brainstorming, the power of helping you brainstorm things, and then Matt Trills would be a good one too, because he is one that has done a lot of research and toiled over using AI. So that will be very informative too. There's other breakouts that don't have anything to do with AI. Okay, so those are available to you. All right. Well, that's it. Let's pray. We'll be dismissed. Lord, thank you for the opportunities we have here.